coverage of the different events. And then we got Mark Edwards joining us. Mark, you were able to coach some of these kids and really be able to see the entire extent of the camp. Your thoughts here going into these All-Star games?
I think it's important that, especially at this grade, we kind of lay a foundation for these kids to play, kind of let them understand, the pick and roll concepts, passing, cutting, knocking down open shots, and a new skill called being a good teammate. That last year, a couple years ago, was, kids having a good motor. Nowadays, it's all about kids being good teammates, picking each other up, saying simple things like good pass, good shot, playing good team defense, kind of letting these guys know this is a culture, not just a sport. So this is a great, starting point for these kids, especially going into the 9th grade.
As DJ James knocks down the three-pointer, we see him splash from outside. Clay, give us a synopsis of some of the specialties that we'll see from some of the players out there on the floor and in the game overall.
You're going to see great effort, first of all, on competitive guys. I've never seen a group, well, that's hard to say. We've had some great Fab Frosh camps. This is our 8th annual. But this is good. I mean, this has been an exceptional group. They are extremely competitive. One of the things we saw a lot, I think Mark would agree, is just the athleticism at the rim. I mean, these kids are getting to the rim no matter what size they are. They want to make plays at the rim. But I saw a lot of also drive and kick, a lot of the Spurs-type basketball from this group, and it looks like they're getting it.
That's one of those leagues I believe plays with the shot clock there in that D.C. area, their private league.
They do. That's the Catholic League in D.C. No offense to Mark, who's a New Yorker, but, we all know the D.C. Catholic League is a pretty competitive league, and, they got great teams and great players.
I mean, New York City, we ran basketball for pretty much the majority of, the existence of basketball. So I think sometimes we got to, pass the crown a little bit. DC has definitely come up a lot. They've always had great players. Definitely. That area right there, those guys have always been scary good. Now I think basketball has spread down to the South a lot. And I think the internet has really helped that, because I remember back in the days, guys had never seen a real crossover or just some real incredible moves. When the internet got crazy, they got a chance to see it. Now they can all emulate it. They can see the different things that guys doing around the nation, and the game has really spread.
That last three-pointer for Team White was knocked down by Jalen Llewellyn.
Like him. Canada kid, Marcus.
Number 17 in the white jerseys.
Really good. Plays with CIA Bounce, same program that recently drafted number 1 Andrew Wiggins played in.
Was just going to touch on that. We're talking about the inner United States areas and the hotbeds for basketball. The nation of Canada is really experiencing some momentum. Everything from the coverage to some of the prospects coming out of there. You gentlemen's thoughts on that?
With Canada, you having that's a continent. You know what I'm saying? You got good patience with the ball. Knows how to run the pick and roll. So he's a good IQ player. You kind of love that in the point guard.
When you use a word like moxie, for those that need a crash course on what you're representing when you say that, what are some of the signs of a player that has moxie out there on the floor?
They just know what they're doing. It's just it's a natural feel for just knowing how to play, and it doesn't just mean on the offensive end. They just know what they're doing. No situation or circumstance. They look kind of cool doing it.
That confidence.
Confidence, absolutely, absolutely. And the kid at the line, number 113 in white, lefty, that is P.J. Washington's brother, Marcus. That's Spencer Washington. You saw P.J. at the Super Soft camp. He was dominant there. This is his younger brother, who's also got a lot of potential. That's Kenyon Burt from North Carolina. Good move from Raleigh, North Carolina. Number 98, he's had an outstanding camp. Very physical and aggressive player. Really aggressive at 6'3" and got a great build physique. I like this kid a lot. Point guard from Houston Hoops. The Houston Hoops program, a Nike program, outstanding tradition from Houston. Bryson Etienne, number 38.
Etienne just off the mark with a three-pointer, catch and shoot mid-range J, knocked down there by number 71, Cameron Creighton.
That's something we don't see enough of in today's game, kids taking advantage of those mid-range shots.
I agree. Absolutely, Mark. He's right.
What do you think helps contribute to that? Is it a lack of focus when you talk about the younger developmental ages? Is it the lure of the three-pointer or the dunk? What do you think are some of the factors that go into that lack of the mid-range?
It's the lure of the three. Either you're getting a dunk or you're shooting a deep jump shot. But what they don't understand is that when you're evaluated by some real scouts, they want to say things like he can score at all 3 levels, which means being able to get to the basket, hitting that 15-footer, and knocking down that deep ball.
You got to have an in-between game.
evaluation.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to have an in-between game. Can't just be a New York point. Oh, sorry, Mark.
Oh,
New York point guard getting all the way to the basket.
Here you go. Here you go.
And we've touched on the regional undertones here, with, with the New York versus the D.C. area with you guys. But talk about this type of event and being able to settle some of those competitive beefs, those healthy competitive beefs when it comes to area.
Well, it's great. It's great because, as Mark knows, these kinds of camps and showcase venues, platforms, really, they bring together kids from all over the country.
Yeah, and me personally, I like to create beefs. I'm online all. One guy's on the bench, he's like, you better get. The other guys on the bench, he's saying the same thing, but they're not giving up on each other. They're not saying, I'm going to let you score. No, you're going to score, you're going to earn it. So that's what being competitive is. When you look at LeBron and Kevin Durant and those guys, when they're on the court going at each other, it's no love loss.
Yep.
It's no love loss.
14-14 ball game to the rack with the finish. Number 9, Tony Johnson out of Alabama.
Like that kid a lot. He's going to be a really solid point guard. He has a chance to be special if he wants. He plays up at the 16 level, 16 and under with Alabama Premier. Really has a good understanding of how to play the position and does a nice job being unselfish. He was one of our leading playmakers when it comes to as Mark talked about, drags and running pick and roll and pick and pop. He really understands how to do it and how to be patient and hit the pocket pass or, get his big man the ball. And he does a nice job. What I like, Marcus, about what we do here with the Fab Frosh Camp every year, we start out with kids on day one, and they really kind of don't understand some of the concepts that are prevalent today in today's game. Mark talked about it with two-man game and screen roll, pick pop, baseline drift, baseline drive, those kinds of things. They start out day one, they don't really get it. By day, late in day 2, day 3, they look like totally different kids. And that's the great thing about basketball. Like this kid, he's going to be special. Really long NBA hoops. That's Michael Barber, number 85, 6'6". Got a lot of skill and range with his game. Very versatile. We got a palming call. Carrying.
That's a rare violation that you see called. It's one of those where if that's called, you had to be at fault because they kind of let traveling and carrying violations go for the most part.
Yeah.
Tough three-pointer.
See Michael Barber again.
Good defense, better offense, Michael Barber, this time from the outside.
Michael Barber had a really excellent junior All-American camp last year, and he's back, and he's a better player. And there you see Gavin Shonwall from one of the country's top AAU teams in the 8th grade in 2018. We all can go from Nashville, Tennessee. This kid's improved a lot also right there, 82. That's Roderick Smith.
He missed the shot, but Shamari McLeod with the rebound and the putback. Double dribble violation.
I think one of the important things for these point guards to understand is before they get to half court, they kind of need to have a plan. If there's no fast break situation before they get to half court, they need to have a plan.
I love that.
They need to figure out who hasn't gotten the ball. They need to figure out who the hot hand is. They need to figure out, can I run a ball screen here? Can I just attack this guy here? If I do attack, do I have a shooter on that wing that I can kick to? Before you get to half court, you need to know what you're going to do. Like right now, you should be probing the defense, saying, okay, where are the angles?
One of the things I also hope that point guards will understand is time and score, which means if we haven't scored 2 or 3 or 4 trips straight up the floor, we need to get a good shot or we need to get some ball movement and player movement, and I'm the cause of that.
I can tell you what skill you need to have to get noticed. And this guy coaches at the national level. His high school team wins state championships and plays in national events. So he can tell you what needs to be done. So the more humble they are, the more they open up to learning. And if they can do that, they'll continue to get better. Because right now, they're just going into the 9th grade. We might expect a lot from them, but we also understand that we need to help them establish that base. And that base will only be stronger if they're humble and willing to learn.
Cordell Littlejohn definitely applying some of what he's learned.
Woo.
Knocks down another three-pointer.
Monty Johal.
Good block.
It's going to send Littlejohn to the line. And Clay, let's look at some of the past participants here at the Frosh camp. Those among the likes of Jalil Okafor, Tyler Eulis, Stanley Johnson, Emmanuel Moutier, Justice Winslow. Talk about some of the past pipeline of players, and also, do you see any comparisons between maybe this year's class and some of the past players that have come through?
Great question, Marcus. Glad you asked. One of the things that we wanted to do coming into this year was honor those kids that have really made names for themselves and that have gone on to do great things. Like Gilchrist, we named a team after him here, a camp team. So all the kids were excited to play on these teams. Tyler Eulis, we had a team Eulis, we had a team Shabazz for Shabazz Muhammad. We had a team Okafor, team Cliff Alexander. I mean, we had all of them. And, comparisons, I look out here and I look at like a Saxon Thompson that Mark liked, and I see a little bit of Tyler Eulis in him. I don't see any Okafor out here.
No Okafor.
Yeah, right. Those come once in a blue moon. But you see the makings of like a kid like Simi Shitu, who's from Canada. You'll see him in the top 30 game. And Deshang Weaver. Those guys have not only great motors, but they're super talented kids.
Special.
They're special.
Not talented. He's just special.
Special.
84.
Yeah, you're going to see them. So
Oh,
they
my
remind you of maybe bigger Justice Winslows or bigger Theo Pinsons and guys like that.
As we've approached the halftime break, it's a 27-26 ball game. Little John definitely had a nice first half there as he was able to end the first half with a couple of buckets. Little John number 62 in the black jerseys. Tight game there in the first half. We know the second half in these type of events only gets more competitive. So we look forward to that. Going to take a short break. When we get back, we'll bring you the second half here live from the Frosh camp in the top 60 game. Going to be out of bounds and go back over to Team White. No short of athleticism here at this year's camp. 1 point ball game, advantage Team White. Nice cut, the pass, and the finish.
I really like him a lot. That's Prentice Hub going to Gonzaga, as we talked about in the Washington, D.C. area. He plays with D.C. Premier, which is the newly rebranded program that was D.C. Assault. But he really understands how to play. He's a great scorer, but he does a lot of good things. You can see him defending there, and he's really athletic for only 6'1". He plays bigger than he is. Like him.
That three-pointer in and out, following and getting the offensive rebound in the bucket to go, number 73, DJ James. James, another South Carolina representative here at this year's camp.
That kid's an interesting kid. He's from Holland, number 75, living in South Carolina now. Kyle Rawson. Some nice skill.
Picking up the pieces there and getting the bucket is Dwayne Cohill Jr. out of Ohio. Team White not shy about the three ball here in the second half at all. We talked about the fact that Gonzaga now plays in a league that involves a shot clock. I was at the Miller Grove Shot Clock League here in Georgia, although of course state rule just yet. That's something that a lot of teams are trying to adopt for. Mark, what are your thoughts on the shot clock and its usage in high school?
I think it'd be great, especially in Georgia. You know, it won't allow.
They have got a lot of spring and energy in their step because it's very intensive over 3 days here. I mean, it is intensive. A lot of these kids have never worked like they've worked here.
Well, I think it's like I said, it's a jump-off point. You know, what they have to understand is not the best ball player that makes it anymore. It's the best athlete that can play basketball. So if you're a coach and you're going to give away a six-figure basketball scholarship, you want the kids that can survive. You want survival of the fittest. You want to put them all in a pit and see who comes out as the winner. You know, that's what they want. You want those competitors. You want those kids that are in great shape. And that's something that kids need to look at nowadays, getting in shape. You know, how many sprints are you running? How many miles are you running every day? How many push-ups are you doing? How many sit-ups? You know, are you eating right? You know, outside of doing something with your AAU team or your high school coach, what else are you doing to, get your athletic ability and your body, looking a certain way?
That was Ross Ryan with the bucket on the other end for Team Black, number 96. Here for Team White, we're going to have number 39 going in the free throw line, Justin Boyd. Boyd out of Whitney Young High School there in Illinois. You talked about how you didn't see a Jalil Okafor type player out here. He's a one-of-a-kind designer original. Well, you've got a guy that at least goes to the high school that, or is headed to the high school that Okafor is coming out of.
I see a few guys that remind me of guys like D'Angelo Russell, who was in that group. You probably see him right there. He's on our website as one of the alumni, and I see a lot of kids that remind me of him.
And he's got long arms, shoots a high arcing jump shot.
Plays
he's
at his own pace. Yeah, he is.
What unique combination makes him so effective? We've seen guys that small that are quick, guys that small that can shoot, guys that small that make good decisions. What makes him a cut above?
Right here.
His head.
His head is outstanding.
But then his ability to change speeds, and the fact that Clay said he plays at his own pace. He can change the pace whenever he wants to, but he understands how to switch gears. Because if you have a player who only goes at one speed, as a defender, I'm going to play him at this speed. But if you got a guy that's shifty, that can push it real fast and stop one down, but then explode again, as a defender, you're stuck.
Yeah.
Because you're guessing. You're guessing.
Tony Johnson with the bucket inside there.
Let's watch this kid with the ball, Marcus. This is the one we talked about, 103, Saxon Thompson, who Mark likes. I like him too. He's got a lot of that moxie. He's got a lot of that understanding of how to play. Tough shot right there for him.
Yeah, he'll learn instead of,
He's a little guy.
A lot of kids,
nice move.
They pump fake.
He's playing
when
well.
they go into the lane instead of just taking the shot straight up. A lot of times you pump fake yourself into getting your shot blocked.
Dwayne Cohill's playing well. 45 in black from Ohio Basketball Club. Really like him.
Nice slice and dice through there on his last bucket. No good on the jump shot. Team Black looking to run a little bit. Good use of the shot fake there and the finish.
Strong move.
Tony Johnson, number 9 from Eufaula, Alabama.
That's a skill drill that a lot of kids don't use enough of. Being able to get to the spot, pump fake, and then getting shot up real quick. That's something that Pete Newell used to teach back in the days of the big man camp.
That was Scooter Smith, Marcus, from California, Los Angeles, California. I like him a lot. He's going to be a good player from out there, and he's about 6'3", 2 guard. Going to be really good.
He's number 55 in the white jersey. Just knocked down the 3 ball. The Euro and the finish there.
Good move.
Nice 98.
He did it well. The reason that move works, that Euro and all these little young kids need to understand, the only way that move works if you utilize having the person on the wing. So when you actually step to the right, you step to the right, and that's the fake pass. So you're faking the pass and then bringing it back in and then go. If you don't have anybody on that wing, you just do a Euro for no reason, a lot of times you get caught with the charge. Because the defense is like, okay, there's nobody over there, so I'm not going for that.
Yeah. And that was number 98, Kenyon Burt, on that Euro and finish. And, you know, I'm glad you kind of clarified the point of the Euro has to fit in the right setting with a lot of things. If it's just like a spin move, if it's premeditated, you know you're going to do this regardless of how the defense is playing you. We see those often end up being some of the worst plays out there when it's a premeditated move that you just got to use. You know, I kind of liken it to that guy that just got that coat, and even though it's 75 degrees outside or 90 degrees outside, he's got to wear that coat, you know.
Yeah. That was Shamari McLeod from right here in Atlanta, the Atlanta Celtics, number 65, and White with the deep corner three.
Nice shot.
Yeah, he's been impressive all weekend. I was told he was more inside athlete type guy, but he's shown perimeter game. He's shown, you know, that he can defend out on the perimeter. I like what I'm seeing from him all camp.
Selfish play.
Musa Jallo.
This is one of my favorites.
Be creative off the dribble, and what you know, Mark will tell you. Some of that makes the defense pay attention to you, and then they forget. And that's where he drops it off to somebody.
Let him to sleep.
Yep.
Johnson, number 9 here in the black jersey. Free throw made there by number 98, Burt. I tell you what, Burt does not mind throwing that weight around inside.
Yeah, I mean, utilizing the pump fake, getting guys off balance, you know, that's one of his major skills. That's going to help him a lot.
It's a 42-61 ball game. Team Black with the momentum here, but one of the players that you definitely want to watch, he's had a good game so far, number 35, Monty Johal. He's about to inbound the ball for Team White once they get ready to resume play. As we mentioned, be sure to stick with us here for the top 30 game webcast that'll take place within 5 to 10 minutes after the completion of this one. That three-pointer off the mark there by Marcus Watson.
Good pass.
Finished inside by number 87, Gavin Schoenwald. Tough shot selection here for Team White. I'd probably say the last 10, 15 possessions. It's kind of just been whoever wants a jump shot, just kind of take it. And meanwhile, Team Black is grabbing it, rebounding, and running.
You know, this is a time when the kids are just, you know, we just kind of let them go, let them have fun.
Yep.
You know, this is it. And they'll go on. Wow, did you see where he shot that from? Did you see that? That was the volleyball corner.
28, 30 feet away.
Oh, my God.
Cordell Littlejohn.
I told you guys, I mean, he has unbelievable range. So does that kid. That kid can score the basketball. I watched him get 30 in like 3 quarters.
Monty Johal.
Big time player.
You mentioned how this is kind of the setting where you just kind of let the players go, and you know the score counts, but actually it really doesn't. You want to see who's competing.
Oh, you see that pass?
Dime right there. Littlejohn getting involved in more than just scoring.
He's bringing everything out. He's bringing everything out.
Around like that?
Dunk that. Oh.
You're seeing Team White kind of step things up on offense here. That bucket scored inside by Watson. 3-pointers no good. Watson with the rebound. Team White getting back going a little bit on offense. So we're going to have a foul there against Kennedy Milton. Checking back into the game for Team Black, going to be number 29, Isaiah Musius.
He's from New York, upstate New York. Really like him as a player. I believe he's going to St. Raymond.
Weight room work inside.
Move. Yeah.
Mouse in the house.
Which is, as we always do, I mentioned we really try to emphasize in the skill work position breakdown, position-specific bigs and guards. We kind of try to stay current with some of the things that are current going on in today's game. Like the high screen that we see a lot of basketball at every level. But it was fantastic. I mean, these guys were coachable, they were attentive, and they got after it in the skill session. So it was great.
Still there by Team White.
I like that.
Unable to get the flush. Prentice Hub still
Even though he
going
missed.
high.
Even though he missed, I like the fact that he's attacking the rim. He's still an 8th grader. He's not a 9th grader yet. Till that first day of school, he's still an 8th grader. And the fact that he's attacking the rim, he missed a dunk, I don't even mind.